Hello, hello. So, the Donald has become the new president of the US of A, and we are all so screwed. Yep, this is another one of my speed design videos. So, voila. I haven't recorded audio in like forever, because the October video didn't really have much audio behind it. But, alright. This video is kind of addressing all the claims about Donald Trump and, how the world's gonna end because, oh, no, we have an orange man, our first orange president. Oh, no, the most racist, sexist, xenophobic, misogynist man on the planet is the new president of the US of fucking A. And his vice president runs the theocracy of Indiana. Well, used to run the theocracy of Indiana. And now we're all so screwed, right? Well, I really doubt that, all these extreme fears of Donald Trump will actually come true. Because, yes, the Republicans own the House and the Senate with majority control, but yet again, during the primary season, pretty much, most of the Republicans were against him, and it still looks like that they will be against him in this time round because, they're the corporatist. Well, the standard corporatist, if you think of Republicans like that. And Donald Trump is populist, and, corporatists don't like populists. And, well, the establishment still really doesn't like Trump because establishment. And so, yeah. What else? Oh, yeah. And then people saying that hate won this election. No, hate didn't win this election. It was another case of people voting with their wallets. And now you may be thinking, wait, people vote with their wallets? I thought people think with their dicks. Well, voting and thinking are two different things, mind you. And yeah, people voted with their wallets in this election, as you can tell by Trump's expansion of the map with Republicans by taking over pretty much typically Democratic states like Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania and turning them red. And Ohio. Well, Ohio's a swing state. So that kind of played into his hands. Well, no, didn't play into his hands. What am I talking about? I'm rusty. So yeah, the reason those blue states voted for Trump was because Clinton didn't offer a better alternative. These people voted for Obama in 2008 and 2012, and Obama promised all this hope and change. His campaign slogans for those two terms, and he's like, I will help you, I will fix you, come here and vote for me because I am the change you want to see in the world. And Trump was the exact same in that respect. He was like, I'm going to make America great again because the people in the Rust Belt are struggling as fuck. And Clinton didn't offer that. So Obama offered hope and change, and Clinton's like, yeah, I'll do more of that. And then the people in the Rust Belt have been ignored pretty much in the last 8 years. They haven't seen their jobs come back. They still are struggling with outsourcing as a major problem. They don't have jobs most of their manufacturing jobs are gone out of their cities. And, if you drive through Detroit, you see it pretty much falling apart. And Trump says, he'll fix that. And that's why, from very early on, I knew that. So there's a projection map on 538, which said that Michigan was going to go blue, Wisconsin was going to go blue, Pennsylvania was going to go blue. And I was very skeptical about Michigan because during the primaries, I saw where Trump was hitting at the Michigan voters. He was aiming for their paychecks, for their wallets, because, they need a job, they need to provide food on their table, and Clinton never really did that. And another thing I found weird was that Clinton stayed in Michigan to campaign. And the final weeks of the election. And I'm like, why? Why don't you go to North Carolina and Florida where your message was more successful whenever you went there? Because polls have been misleading us for who knows how long now. 2016 polls have been misleading us. Yeah. But yeah, when she went to North Carolina and Florida, in those states, whenever she visited, her message resonated, even though her message was pretty plastered, pretty fake, resonated with those people. So I was very surprised to see her camp out in Michigan, telling the Donald, come here and take my state. And, he came and he took, because he felt like it. Well, no, he aimed for the wallet. So after, Trump got the eventual announcement, the media were like, oh no, how did this happen? We never saw this happening. And all that hysteria. And I'm like, I kind of saw this happening because Clinton, nobody was enthusiastic about her. Everyone's like, well, it's not the big orange man. That was like the mood around the Clinton camp. And like, just like Brexit, they're like, well, the EU is the best option, even though it's not going to be great here. It's better than leaving. And that's kind of how Clinton showed herself to the outside world. And then the protests and riots. I was like, why? Why protest and why riot? Yes, the media has demonized Donald Trump to be like, the worst person in the world. But I'm like, you don't need to do that. You could have voted on November 8th. And voted for whoever you wanted to see president, because this turnout in cities where Clinton was very strong was by far very low. Rural voters who were excited about Trump showed up to vote, and then these protests, not my president, or like, they didn't vote. Not most of them. Some of them didn't even vote, and that was pretty much the revolution there. You don't have to protest and riot now after the fact. You should have done this before and voted to get your message across. And, as long as they're being peaceful, that will be my nerve with them, but I won't feel like to attack them or anything like, some people have. But the rioters get under my skin because why destroy things? I don't see it. I don't see the reason for it. Like one of my friends said, the Boston Tea Party was like a riot for American independence, and like I'm just trying to reflect on that on myself, and I'm thinking, if I was alive during that time, it wouldn't be fun, but I would be thinking that the people who threw tea off the Boston Harbor were insane because I didn't see the future coming. But my 2 cents. And then the Electoral College getting a lot of stick after the Trump won the election. They're like, the Electoral College doesn't work, It's a piece of shit. We need to abolish it and go with popular vote because Clinton won popular vote. So let's not make Trump president. And to that I say, oh, sorry about the interruption. It was just, I'm so popular, people blow up my phone. Sarcasm. So, where was I? The Electoral College. So, the people have been complaining about the Electoral College, saying that, it's an outdated system and whatnot. And I can agree and disagree. I don't think the Electoral College needs to be completely, abolished and never be ever existed in the first place. Well, that's, not their opinion, but they believe that the Electoral College should be abolished and popular vote should be the outstanding principle. And to that I say, I don't think that works. I think that popular vote can be rigged pretty easily, because if you have, say, a number of ballots or a computer glitch that increases votes tenfold, boom, you've got a winner. Whereas if you increase votes tenfold in, Ohio, which is a pretty swing state, and then Florida, you're going to have, and say Florida goes the other way, it would change the election. But, not by, you have to fix each and every state. Whereas if it's just a popular vote system, you just fix the numbers. And so I think the Electoral College needs to be reformed because it's not a perfect system, because you can win the Electoral College with only like 20%, 21% of the population. And, that's not fair. But I think the CGP Grey has one of the best systems that I've ever heard of. Has the best voting systems I've ever heard of, which is first past the post, which is say you have a multitude of candidates, and you order them preferentially, and then say you get to a certain threshold, let's say 75%, so you can win them the overwhelming majority of that state, and if no candidate hits that number, you cross out the lowest, divide up their second places, and so on until someone hits that threshold. And now, for 75%, it's kind of more difficult because, say, two candidates are still really close, and the others are so low that they can't get over 75%. Maybe you could do whoever, for the two candidates that are against each other, see their second place ballots and see who has the overwhelming majority on that. And you use that in tandem with the Electoral College. If you win 75% of the state population, you win all the electoral votes in that state. So, yeah, I think that's a better system than we have now, because I think you would increase the voting block by 42% of the population, which is a much closer estimate. Because if you only do popular vote, places like Ohio, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, their issues would be ignored again because nobody was focusing on the Rust Belt. Clinton wasn't focusing on the Rust Belt, and she won popular vote. And that was the win for the Electoral College in this election. It focused on the group that cried out for help. And Donald Trump, said, I will help you. And they listened. And if you have, what I've proposed, it could probably work the same. It doesn't give, the overwhelming power to, the people clustered in specific areas, high population areas. And it gives power to, the people in the states. So, that's pretty much what I have to link. I've said a lot of so's, ums, buts, and so on, so sorry about that. And yeah, I think it's time for me to go. Oh yeah, I've also got finals coming up, so don't expect another video until those are over. But I think that's all I have to say. And see ya.